G'day and welcome to the Brits in the NRL round 15 review. And there's only one place to start, and it's not good news for the Brits. George Burgess. He's been referred straight to the judiciary for an eye gouge. And look, he's looking at least 8 to 10 weeks, it looks like. It was on Robbie Farah. He's got form, if you remember, I think it was the third test, England, New Zealand, over in Britain late last year. He got a 4-week suspension for an eye gouge on Darwin Zalesniak. So George has got this in his game, and he's got to get it out. There's even conjecture he may have played his last game for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. It's that serious. We've had a couple of instances this year. We've had Josh Maguire got fined twice for similar incidents, and then the NRL, as they do, Hudson Young. Some people get different treatment. Hudson Young, he sort of pushed his knuckles in. He got 5-week suspension. So George, it wasn't your classic eye gouge, it wasn't a ripping motion, but he put a lot of pressure into Robbie Farah's eye. Robbie's eye was irritated, so look, he was lucky probably not to get sent off, to be quite honest. And even Wayne Bennett, like he hadn't really seen the video, didn't want to say too much, but he sort of said he doesn't know why George did it. And I don't know why George does it. George, get it out of your game, mate. It shouldn't be in our game. And I think you're going to have a long spell out of our game because of it. So anyway, and George only played 17 minutes. The Bunnies lost 14-9 to the Tigers. It was a late Michael Cheekham try that got the Tigers the upset win. So that's now 4 in a row, I think, for the Bunnies, 4 losses. And they really need Sam and Thomas back very quickly. Sam will be away for another couple of weeks. Thomas may be due next game back. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think he'll be back probably round 17, I would more think. But the Bunnies need the Burgess boys on deck. And as I said, George won't be there for quite a while. So not good news for the Brits. Now the Raiders, it wasn't a great weekend for the English players in the NRL. All 4 Raiders played up in Darwin against the Eels, and they were brilliant out of the blocks. They led 16-0, and they were on fire, and it just looked like the Raiders by how many, but I don't know whether it was the humidity, the weather. I thought it may play a factor, but boy, oh boy, they let in 3 tries in the second half, 2 very late in the first half. At the 37-minute mark, it was 16-0. They went in at halftime 16-12 up, and they went down 22-16. Nothing to write home about for any of the Englishmen. John Bateman and Josh Hodgson started well, but even they slipped away a bit in the second. They really fell away badly, the whole team, to be honest. Ryan Sutton, there was one massive hit off the bench, but other than that, yeah, it just wasn't their night. And the Raiders have got an issue there because that's 2 games in a row now. They've blown big leads. They were up 20-0 against the Sharks 2 weeks ago, but they got away with it 22-20. Wasn't to be up in Darwin. So Ricky Stewart's got a bit to work on, and the side as a whole need to aim up. So that was a bit of the Raiders of old on the weekend. So hopefully the English guys can lead the way and keep the Raiders in the top 4. If they'd won that game, they would have been second on the table. So it was a big loss for the Raiders. Now, there was no other Englishman in action in the NRL, so we've got to go down to the Canterbury Cup. Now, Ryan Hall, very late in the piece, Trent Robinson completely rejigged his side for their game against the Storm. So Ryan Hall was taken out of the side. Matt Ikuvalu played, and Ryan Hall didn't even play in the New South Wales Canterbury Cup. So whether they're just giving him a rest because he's still coming back from that ACL, so I'm not sure whether he's injured or whether they were just giving him a rest. But Ryan Hall didn't play at all on the weekend. Chris McQueen did play in the Canterbury Cup for the West Magpies, but they lost to the Bunnies. And up in Queensland, Herbie Farnworth, he is going awesome. Watch out, the Broncos are struggling, and don't be surprised if Herbie plays a part next year, because he's scored his 12th try in 11 games. He also kicked 6 from 7 as the North Devils beat the East Tigers 36-26. So Herbie Farnworth's doing great things, and he's got to be on the Anthony Seibold's radar. Now, other news. Callum Watkins. Now we're past the June 30 deadline. Callum Watkins is now a Gold Coast Titan, and he's available for selection this weekend, and he will be rushed straight into the starting lineup. The Titans are coming equal bottom on the table with the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs had a great surprise win over the Sharks. Watkins will go straight in, Callum Watkins. Jesse Arthur's a rookie, has been going okay, but the Titans themselves are battling. So Callum has gone from a battling lead side to a battling Titan side. He can only help the Gold Coast Titans. Maybe give him a couple of weeks to show his best, but boy, they need him. And it's a great chance for Callum Watkins to showcase his skills in the hardest rugby league comp in the world. Now, other news, James, Graham and Gareth Widdop are both due to be back round 20, so about a month away. And look, the Dragons, they had a win over the Cowboys. It wasn't pretty, but it was a win. If they can hang in there until Graham and Widdop are back, anything's possible. So anyway, that's it for the Brits in the NRL this week. Not great news, I'm afraid, and I'll probably have more news for you on George Burgess in my preview for this weekend's NRL games. There's also an Origin teams getting picked today, and I can give you one tip, Kalen Ponga is out. So anyway, that's it for the Brits in the NRL, and I'll see you in a couple of days.